Hold on to your coffee cups, America. This is Tom McCullough filling in for Gary Franchi, and we're coming to you live on YouTube to millions worldwide, plus streaming on Rumble and X. So follow us on all the platforms. We need your help everywhere. And right now, I see those super chats and Rumble rants flooding in, and we're featuring them on screen for the world to see. So keep them coming. And what set the raw feed apart is we interact with you, getting your real-time reactions to the day's news. And this isn't a lecture, it's a conversation. So share the stream via text message to bypass the algorithm, and X users repost this to your followers now if you can. Spread the truth person to person where big tech cannot silence us. And if you guys want to support the show privately, hit the donation links in the description. It's givesendgo.com/keep next news alive or PayPal, and every dollar keeps independent journalism alive. And show off your favorite news source with our merch at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got the Alligator Alcatraz, the President Auto Pen, and our American Badass series. So download the Next News Network app right now. And breaking news alerts and exclusive content 24/7. Android users hit Google Play Store, iPhone users grab it from the App Store. The links are below, and never miss what matters. So let's go ahead and dive into history. And on this day, October 13th in 1307, King Philip IV of France ordered the arrest of the Knights Templar, were warriors who protected pilgrims and threatened the establishment with their power. And today, 718 years later, we're witnessing another establishment desperately trying to crush those who threaten their control. Except now, warriors wear MAGA hats and they're protecting the American people. And the Middle East is erupting today, and 20 Israeli hostages trapped in darkness for over 2 years are now finally home, and Hamas surrendered them because they feared Trump. And one freed hostage revealed that they wanted Kamala elected, but when Trump won, everything changed. And the Knesset gave him a thunderous standing ovation, and Netanyahu nominated him for Israel's highest honor, the first non-Israeli ever. And even MSNBC admitted victory for President Trump. But while Trump brokers miracles abroad, Obama's deep state crumbles at home. Letitia James, who built her career persecuting Trump, just got indicted for mortgage fraud. James Comey faces justice for Crossfire Hurricane, and the Russia hoax architects are falling like dominoes. And Obama himself emerged warning about authoritarianism, and as the same man who weaponized the FBI, the DOJ, and the CIA to spy on Trump, he's now plays democracy's defender. Meanwhile, Democrats shut your government down while calling you extremist, and Chuck Schumer holds the shutdown switch, demanding Americans forcefully rise up. And so these are the same Democrats who called shutdowns hostage-taking in 2018. They're now holding America hostage in 2025. In Memphis, something beautiful happened. A mother cried tears of joy. For first time in 5 years, my kids played outside, and they haven't heard a gunshot in 2 weeks. Thank you, President Trump. And the National Guard brought peace to streets, surrendered to chaos. And Chicago, abandoned to gangs for decades, sees federal troops restoring order. And this is the split screen of America. Trump brings hostages home, brokers historic peace deals, saves cities, and Democrats shut down government, defend criminals, attack law enforcement, and one side builds and the other side is burning things down. And in Portland, of all places, extremists riot at ICE facilities, and CNN calls border agents kidnappers. And Senator Chris Murphy declares that we're in the middle of an authoritarian takeover while his party literally shuts down the government. And Illinois Democrat Emanuel Chris Welch compared an ICE security fence to the Berlin Wall. That doesn't even make sense. And today we expose this volcanic meltdown from Jerusalem's golden dawn to Washington's desperate darkness. The empire strikes back, but the people are winning. So this isn't just news, guys. This is a battle for America's soul playing out live on the Raw feed. So let's go ahead and roll. I'm going to go ahead and say hi to the chat. We got Sue Couture in. We got D Nice saying he's going to make that a ringtone. We got Deborah Gomez in the chat today. I know we've got Pothead Kenny, Mrs. Pothead Kenny. We got Karen Finlay. Nice to see you again. Arthur, how you doing today? We got all sorts of good people. All right, where are we going here? We got Heather Reeves. I haven't seen Heather in a long time. How you doing, Heather? It was probably the last time I was here. It was about a week or two ago. I think it was about 2 weeks. And we got 5. A duplicate gifted 5 Next News Network memberships. Awesome, duplicate. Thank you so much for doing that. And it looks like Blue Eyes got a free membership, and Q Essence got a free membership, and Maggie Day got a free member. Everybody's getting memberships tonight. Got to keep those guys going tonight. And I'm ready for topic 1, Bri, if you are. Welcome to all the new members for sure from Karen. Thank you to everyone. All right, Ed. Hopefully you feel better, Ed. I know you're not feeling that great. All right, Democrats shut down the government. Yeah, we know that, Essence. They definitely shut it all down. All right, what else we got? Jeremy Olson. How you doing, Jeremy? I haven't seen Kenny pop in the chat yet. How you doing, Kenny? All right, I'm ready, Brian. So today we witnessed the world said was impossible. After generations of bloodshed, President Trump stood before the Israeli Knesset and declared the end of the age of terror. And 20 hostages were returned from darkness, and the chamber erupted. Even his enemies admitted victory, but this wasn't just about ending a war. This was about a man who refused to accept that some conflicts are permanent. And what he said next sent shockwaves through capitals from Tehran to Damascus. And the entire Middle East is transforming before our eyes. And the establishment, they can't believe what they're seeing. This is bigger than politics. This is history being written right in front of us. So stay with us. So gold has gone mainstream, and you're seeing it everywhere, and prices keep climbing, and every day more and more Americans are catching on to the power of gold. But how do you actually take advantage of it? How do you invest in a way that's safe, simple, and built for the long run? And that's where Noble Gold Investment comes in. And Noble Gold specialists are trained to help investors like you go from confused to confident, from wondering what's next to knowing exactly what to do. Whether you're looking to roll over an old 401k into a gold IRA, or you want physical coins and bars delivered right to your home, Noble Gold makes the process simple, safe, and stress-free. You look at step-by-step guidance, transparent pricing, and U.S.-based service from a team that's handled over $2.5 billion in precious metal transactions. With Noble Gold Investments, protecting and growing your wealth isn't just their job, it's their commitment. So go ahead and visit nextnewsgold.com today to claim your free Wealth Protector Kit. That's nextnewsgold.com. Noble Gold, helping you build a stronger future. So when Trump stood at the podium in Israel, something shifted in the universe. The man who built skyscrapers decided to build peace, and he did it in a way that made the entire foreign policy establishment look like amateurs playing checkers while he played three-dimensional chess. So here's what happened. President Trump addressed the Knesset and said that the unthinkable. This is not only the end of a war, it is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith, hope, and God. And watch what happens next.
This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
I want you guys to get this. That's not political rhetoric. That's a man rewriting history with nothing but conviction and credibility. And the results speak louder than any speech. All 20 living Israeli hostages are officially home. Families collapsed in tears, children saying prayers. And get this, even Stephen A. Smith had to admit what everyone saw with their own eyes. Take a look.
There is no doubt that he has done more than practically almost any administration has tried to do when it comes to ending conflicts around the world. And he's put himself in a position where the political capital that he stands to gain isn't necessarily that great. So his willingness to do so is obviously something that shouldn't be ignored and something that should be, dare I say, applauded to some degree. Again, that doesn't mean I like everything he does. You and I can argue back and forth about a few things. But in the end, you are absolutely right when you point out that there's not much to gain for him in a lot of this, yet he engages anyway, and you have to give credit where credit is due.
So he said more than practically any administration. And that's from a guy who never gives Trump credit for anything. And that's how undeniable that this moment is. Now watch Trump map out the future. This isn't some vague peace process garbage that we've heard for decades. This is specific. Tel Aviv to Dubai, Jerusalem to Damascus, Haifa to Beirut. Commerce is replacing carnage. Listen to him paint the picture. It's beautiful. Take a look.
So now we're going to forge a future that is worthy of our heritage. We're going to build a legacy that all the people of this region can be proud of. New bonds of friendship, cooperation, and commerce will join Tel Aviv to Dubai, Haifa to Beirut, Jerusalem to Damascus, and from Israel to Egypt, from Saudi Arabia to Qatar, from India to Pakistan, from Indonesia to Iraq, from Syria to Bahrain, Turkey to Jordan, the United Arab Emirates to Oman, and Armenia to Azerbaijan, another war that I just settled. We are going to have hope, harmony, opportunity, and happiness here in the spiritual and geographic center of the entire world. That's what you are. Israel, America, and all of the nations of the Middle East will soon be safer, stronger, greater, and more prosperous than ever before. And I want to thank you all once again for this exceptional honor. This has been truly an honor. It's seldom that a president is invited to do this. And I love Israel. I'm with you all the way. You will be bigger, better, stronger, and more loving than ever before. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the Middle East. Thank you, everybody. Good luck. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It was like he was giving a closing speech at one of his rallies, and these are world leaders that are there giving him the standing ovation that he deserves. And he said that the spiritual and geographic center of the entire world. That's not hyperbole when you're standing in Jerusalem making it happen. And even MSNBC couldn't spin this. Their morning show aired a segment without Trump derangement syndrome. I don't remember the last time that's happened. And they called it what it is, a victory for President Trump and for civilized norms over brute force. Watch.
Yeah, so many questions remain as to whether Hamas will indeed demilitarize, will they give up their weapons. There's a lot of skepticism about that. John Meacham, as we await President Trump, we expect his remarks in the next little bit here, and we'll obviously keep watching the proceedings there in Jerusalem. Just your thoughts. It is a historic day. We don't know if it will be the first chapter of a longer story of peace for the Middle East. The president's trying to frame it that way. We simply don't know. But even just for what today means, give us your thoughts, your perspective.
It's a terrific day for the hostage families. It's a terrific day for President Trump, for our national interests. You're right, we don't know how the story ends, but stories are made up of chapters. As Richard Haas knows, he was very much in the arena now 35 years ago, at the end of the first Gulf War, when there was a great conference in Madrid as we tried to reset the peace process. 9 years later, President Clinton, in the last hours of his presidency, made a noble attempt at Camp David. We can go on and on about the various chapters, but we should make no mistake about this. This is a victory for President Trump and for those who wish that we can govern ourselves at home and around the world, not simply by brute force, but by ideas and civilized norms.
So John Meacham comparing it to the Madrid after the Gulf War, that's establishment speak for this is actually historic. And they went through that whole segment without saying, oh, this is going to fail in 20 minutes like they would normally do for Trump. It was incredible. And the Biden administration still tried to take credit for this. Their former officials went on TV saying this builds on their framework, really. So let's see how that talking point held up when CNN pressed Biden's Pentagon spokesperson. Watch this.
And I know the Biden administration on its way out tried to get to a deal. It did not. What do you think is the difference here in this moment that put the Trump team ahead?
Yeah, the framework that has been put into place in this 20-point plan that the Trump administration has implemented builds on the framework of the Biden administration.
Biden didn't even know what state he was in half the time. How could they even do an establishment pen or whatever that they're trying to do? Let's let them see how they can spin this away from Trump.
And of course, there are a few differences in the plan, but it was always a phase 1, 2, and 3 approach. First,
Every peace deal is a phase 1, 2, and 3 approach. For the history of peace deals, this lady, they're stretching this super thin.
Ceasefire, then the second phase was a return of the hostages, and then the third phase was more on the governing and what does governance look like in Gaza. And there's some differences.
And that's still a question mark right now,
that is absolutely
right?
Still a question.
So they said the Biden administration tried to get a deal. It did not. Truth has a funny way of breaking through spin, guys. And Trump himself explained why this moment matters just beyond today. He talked about the Arab and Muslim nations that helped pressure Hamas. And nobody expected these nations to jump in and do this. This wasn't just Israel versus terrorists anymore. This was civilization choosing peace. Watch this.
And let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free.
And that's something that no president has ever done before. They've got an entire coalition. Every country in the area is on board to stabilize and grow the region. It's incredible what they've done. Marco Rubio will go down as the greatest Secretary of State in history. Continue.
And to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect. And I want to thank them very much for that. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace. And it's pretty unusual for you to see that, but it happened in this case. This was a very unusual point in time, a brilliant point in time. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. It's going to work together.
Say that again. The golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. And when was the last time you heard those words spoken with like complete seriousness? The streets tell the real story. In Tel Aviv, they renamed the hostage square to Freed Square, and thousands of people chanted, "Thank you, Trump," in English and in Hebrew. Check this moment out. Watch.
Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump!
Celebrations still underway in what they're calling Freed Square now, no longer Hostage Square.
And this happened around the world. And that's not manufactured. That's raw gratitude from people who got their loved ones back. And then came the moment that will echo through history. Netanyahu didn't just thank Trump. He nominated him for the Israel Prize, their absolute highest honor, never given to a non-Israeli until now. Check this out.
Mr. President, thank you for all you have done for us. I have submitted your nomination to be the first non-Israeli recipient of the Israel Prize, Israel's highest award. As to that other prize, just a question of time, you'll get it. But I want you to get the Israel Prize, our highest award, to our greatest friend.
So tell me in the comments and in the chat, do you think Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize? I absolutely think he did. And Netanyahu even said it. As for that other prize, it's just a question of time. And even Netanyahu knows Nobel Prize is coming, but we're going to zoom out a little bit. This isn't just about hostages or ceasefire. Trump declared peace across the entire region. Watch him deliver the vision that has eluded every president since Israel's founding. Watch.
Today, for the first time anyone can remember, we have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to put the old feuds and bitter hatreds behind us. And that's why so many people in this room, they didn't get along. Some did, some didn't, but they're getting along now. This has brought the people together. This is the first time the Middle East crisis has brought people together as opposed to driving them apart. And to declare that our future will not be ruled by the fights of the generations past, which is foolish. So together, let us continue in the spirit of cooperation and goodwill that has finally brought us to this incredible, historic breakthrough. If we do, together, we will reach the Middle East's incredible destiny, a safe and prosperous and beautiful crossroads of culture and commerce, faith in humanity, and geographic center. This will be the geographic center of the world.
A safe and prosperous and beautiful crossroads of culture and commerce, faith and humanity. He's not talking about managing conflict. He's talking about ending it forever. And when Trump showed the world what the Middle East could become, he didn't use State Department jargon. He painted a picture so clear you could see it and watch his vision become reality. Take a look.
And with this week's ceasefire, we've achieved the most challenging breakthrough of them all. The most challenging breakthrough maybe ever. I mean, I've never seen anything like. I've been involved in a lot of success. I have never seen anything like what's going on today all over the world. People are dancing in the streets, not just in Israel. They're dancing in the streets of countries that would have never danced in the street about what's happening today. They're dancing in those streets. So this long and difficult war has now ended. You know, some people say 3,000 years, some people say 500 years, whatever it is. It's the granddaddy of them all. And in an unprecedented achievement, virtually the entire region has endorsed the plan that Gaza will be immediately demilitarized, that Hamas will be disarmed, and Israel secure.
And that's such a big deal that they're going to be putting in peacekeepers in the nation to keep people safe. That is such a critical thing. All these nations are joining together to ensure that Gaza remains free for everybody.
Security will no longer be threatened in any way, shape, or form. So Israel, with our help, has won all that they can by force of arms. You've won. I mean, you've won. Now it's time to translate these victories against terrorists on the battlefield into the ultimate prize of peace and prosperity for the entire Middle East. It's about time you were able to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Trump said, "You've won. Now it's time to translate these victories against terrorists on the battlefield into the ultimate prize of peace and prosperity." That is leadership. It's not managing decline, but demanding that people rise up and become great. And that's what happened today. A president who couldn't be bought, intimidated, or discouraged looked at the world's most intricate conflict and said, "Enough." And unlike every politician before him, he had the credibility to make it stick. Arab nations joined him, Israel trusted him, and peace finally won. So if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this not only matters because peace isn't just the absence of war, it's a presence of hope. Today, mothers in Israel are sleeping knowing that their children are safe. Arab nations are choosing commerce over conflict. And the Middle East is transforming from a powder keg into a crossroads of prosperity. But here's what should terrify the establishment. Trump did this by ignoring their playbook entirely. No endless committees, no virtue signaling, and no apologies. Just American strength projected with moral clarity. He proved that when you negotiate from power instead of weakness, and when you say what you mean, and you mean what you say, miracles can happen. So here's my question to you guys. Do you believe that, lasting Middle East peace is actually possible, or will old hatreds eventually resurface? Let me know yes or no, and drop that in the comments. And this isn't about politics anymore, guys. This is about proving that the impossible is only impossible until someone with enough courage decides that it isn't. So go ahead and check out our merch shop in the description and wear your truth proudly. All right, guys, we got a few things going on in the back end that we're trying to work out in the same time, so a little bit choppy on that first one. I apologize. We got a lot of good comments. A lot of people are agreeing that Trump needs the Nobel Peace Prize. So there was some discordant on that, like they had to be submitted by January or whatever. They were putting out some whatever saying that it shouldn't have happened, but get the Peace Prize. I say she should get. Harry fully agrees with me. He's out on mission today. And then we have Heather Reeves saying, "End the peace, go Mr. T." We've got we got Nish Pocket saying, "I don't understand the ebb and flow and balance of power, and neither do we." Nobody understands it unless you're Marco Rubio or the secretary or the heads of the nations that understand that. And I think a lot of the people that are even in those rooms making decisions don't fully understand the situation. So there's a lot of guesswork in some of these because you have to understand hundreds of years of historical context in order to make any of this stuff even work. And when you live in those countries and you have 300 years or 1,000 plus, like Israel, a couple thousand years of historical context, that's a lot to chop together to get through to come to a peace agreement. And we've got Sue saying N3 is the best. We've got Lyle Ledger. What a great leader. Donald Trump is a man of peace. May Trump win the Nobel Peace Prize. I hope he does. I'm going to check and see if we have any super chats. We got a couple new memberships coming out. We got $10 from James Fay. Thank you, James. That's awesome. Keep those super chats coming, and I appreciate you guys doing that. And all the free memberships going out to everybody today. You guys are getting some good stuff. Kirk Kane says, yo, Gary, where are you? Gary's out on assignment today. He will be back, I believe, on Wednesday. He's doing something fun, and it'll get through it. And we got Karen Finley saying it's going to be me tonight. Hopefully I'm not doing too bad of a job filling in for Gary. Any comments or critiques, let me know. And yeah, I do cover the White House for Gary. I'm one of the correspondents for Next News when I'm out on assignment out there. I usually pop in and post video reports onto X, and then Gary brings them into the live chat or the live show. What else we got here? Yeah, we're still trying to figure out some stuff on the back end, folks, so just give us a little bit of time. And if Brian, when you figure it out, let me know. We can pop into topic 2 whenever you're ready. And we've got Deb Noble from Cambodia. We got lots of people coming in from Cambodia. Cambodia does need peace. I agree with those comments. Furringer Xbox says, does Ukrainian leader have a multi-million-dollar Miami estate? Yes, that has been very widely circulated. We got a lot of people on here today. D Nice, mine too, Sue. Going through it here. Yeah, like I said, we're still trying to get through it. I appreciate everybody going in. Brian, are you okay on that side? All right, Brian's not happy. We're going to still, as they say, the show must go on. There's a few audio issues that we're trying to work through too between the segments and between the breaks, so I appreciate you guys sticking with us on that. All right, I'm ready for topic 2, Bri. 2 years, 730 days in Hamas tunnels, Israeli families are torn apart, children who forgot what sunlight looked like, and parents who aged decades in months. Then something changed. The terrorists started acting different. More food, less violence. They knew what was coming. Today, all 20 living hostages walked into the arms of their families, and the videos are almost too powerful to watch. Grown men collapsing, mothers screaming prayers. But this isn't about freedom. It's about the man-made Hamas surrender. One freed hostage revealed the truth about why they're home, and what he said about Trump will reshape how you see American power projected abroad. So go ahead and please keep watching. So just like Trump brought hostages home through strength and strategic positioning, you need to position your retirement strategically. Medicare confusion holds millions hostage to the wrong plans, costing thousands yearly. And that's where Chapter comes in. They make Medicare simple. In under 20 minutes, they will compare all 24,000 plans nationwide to find your perfect fit. Their independent advisors are salaried, not commissioned, and they work for you and not insurance companies. And most seniors save about $1,100 annually, and the annual enrollment period is now. So don't stay trapped in the wrong plan. Call Chapter at 910-728-4109 for your free review, or visit askchapter.org/next, or call again 910-728-4109 right away. So the impossible just happened, and watch the moment President Trump confirmed all 20 living hostages were finally coming home. Not through, negotiation with terrorists, but through pure American determination. And this is what victory sounds like. Take a look.
After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity.
After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, those aren't just words. Those are Israeli mothers, fathers, and children who endured hell. But they're home because America finally had a president who made their freedom non-negotiable. Now check out this Fox News clip confirm what the world is witnessing, that history is unfolding in real time, and every living hostage is accounted for, and every family is reunited. This is what happens when terrorists realize there is a new sheriff in town. Take a look.
11:34 in the morning on this Monday in Israel. It is a historic day, and you are watching history unfold. This is the Knesset in Jerusalem, the Israeli parliament building. President Trump has been invited to speak to the Knesset. He has been obviously very involved in the peace negotiations that have resulted in what you see on the banner at the bottom of your screen there. All 20 living hostages now confirmed to have been released by Hamas. Israel is releasing nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners in return, and there are the bodies of 28 hostages who died while in horrific conditions in Hamas captivity. Those bodies are going to be returned in the coming days, perhaps weeks, because it is not known where all of them are.
So Hamas released nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners to get this done. And think about that leverage. They gave up everything because they knew Trump meant business. The reunions tell the real story. And watch this raw footage of families collapsing into each other's arms. And these aren't actors. These are people who've, thought they'd never see their loved ones again. And listen to their prayers of gratitude. Watch.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
יש לך שתי ידיים, שתי רגליים. איך אני לא ידעתי לך אבא.
חיים שלי, אתה אלוף גיבור, כפרה עליך אני, כפרה עליך.
Could you imagine being the parents of those people that were they were hostages? I don't know what I would do if my children got taken hostage or whatever, but I'm pretty sure I'd be crying just as hard as them. Let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking on that, or how you would act. We're gonna get back to it.
אני כפרה עליך, אני כמה חיות שלך מחכות לראות אותך ואילנה, חיים שלי ונוני. כל העולם חיים שלי, בטח, החזירו לי אותו אחרי 4 ימים, אתה לא מבין טונטון, אתה לא מבין, חיים שלי מה? כפרה עליך אני, כפרה עליך אני, זה החיים שלי, אתה רוצה לשתות, כפרה עליך, בוא כפרה עליך, בוא.
This is pure happiness, and those tears are real, and that relief is earned. That's what American leadership delivers when it refuses to accept defeat. And Trump himself was asked what this moment meant to him, and his answer reveals why this man succeeds where others fail. He sees beyond the moment to the movement. Watch his response. Take a look.
20 Israelis who were held hostage by Hamas for more than 2 years were released today as part of your peace plan. What did that moment mean to you?
Well, everything. You see the enthusiasm really beyond Israel, all over the world. I've never seen anything like it. And I think it just means peace for the Middle East. And it somehow represents, they become representatives of peace for the Middle East. And that's why it's gone like this. Nobody's ever seen anything quite like it.
So they become representatives of peace for the Middle East, not victims, not statistics, representative of what's possible when you refuse to negotiate with evil. But here's the devastating part. Trump revealed the search isn't over. 28 hostages died in captivity. Their bodies are still down there. And listen to Trump explain the grim task ahead. Take a look.
The living hostages have been returned. Can you please tell us what the next steps are?
Well, they're going and looking for bodies. It's a pretty gruesome task, and they know where numerous are, as you know. I guess 5 or 6 are in yet now, but they're looking for bodies. They know the areas, and they search bodies out, and they're doing it in conjunction with Israel, and they're going to be finding quite a few of them.
They're going and looking for bodies. It's a pretty gruesome task. No sugarcoating, no political spin, just a harsh truth about what Hamas did to innocent people. And even Democrats had to admit the undeniable. Watch Democrat Congressman Adam Smith, that he's not a friend of Trump, just to be perfectly clear, forced to acknowledge what real leadership accomplished. And this admission cost him politically, but truth demands recognition. Take a look.
A lot of hostage families who give President Trump credit for this moment happening. Do you give him credit for this?
Oh, certainly. I mean, this is an incredible accomplishment, an incredible moment. I mean, hostages returned. You saw the pictures. I mean, the relief for the families is amazing. But second, the final end of the war in Gaza. And the suffering in Gaza has been enormous over the course of 2 years. Now, there are miles to go on a whole host of different issues that we're going to need to work on that you've been covering this morning. But you have to look at the moment and say just ending the war and getting the hostages home is an incredible accomplishment. It was a long time coming, to be sure, but certainly the president dove in and was engaged on this issue in a way that right now truly did make a difference.
So this is an incredible accomplishment. And when your enemies praise you, you know you've achieved something historic. But the most stunning revelation came from a freed hostage himself. He exposed why Hamas finally released them, and that they were terrified of Trump and desperately wanted Kamala to win. So listen to what changed the moment Trump won the election. Watch.
Yes, it's him. He got me out. He got the hostages out. Before we felt like nothing is happening, you know. And I remember ever since he came into the road, they were very scared of him. Yeah, they wanted
Who?
Terrorists.
We're afraid of Trump.
Yeah, they wanted Kamala to be chosen, to be elected.
You talked politics with them?
Yeah. They wanted Kamala to be elected. But as soon as Donald Trump was elected, they understood that he wants to bring the hostages back home. Yeah. So immediately the way they treated me changed. So if it's the amount of food, I could say this, that when Trump became president, yeah, the way they treated us changed. For me personally, this is what I
think
felt.
because they anticipated that a deal would come soon.
Yeah.
And that's when they started giving you more food.
No, they knew that Donald Trump was going to come in there and literally wipe them off of existence. Look what he did to ISIS in 2 weeks. They said it would take him 3 years to do that. He did it in 2 weeks. And we got Raising Cain. He had full authorization to do whatever they needed to do to destroy Hamas. They knew that, and that's the only reason why hostages were treated better.
Exactly. More food, treated me better, you know, stopped cursing me, stopped spitting on me.
They were spitting and cursing?
Yeah.
Were they beating you?
No, never. I was never, except the 7th of October, I was never abused physically. But I think it's because...
So they stopped cursing me. They stopped spitting on me. The moment Trump won, Hamas knew the game was over. And that's not diplomacy. That's deterrence. So Trump understood something the foreign policy establishment never grasped. You don't negotiate with terrorists. You just kick their butts. Watch him explain how the entire region came together, including Muslim nations, to pressure Hamas to surrender. Take a look.
And let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free. and to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect, and I want to thank them very much for that. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace, and it's pretty unusual for you to see that, but it happened in this case. This was a very unusual point in time, a brilliant point in time. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. It's going to work together.
It is just...
Trump built a coalition of people. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you would not suspect. When American strength returns, even unlikely allies step forward. And this wasn't some gradual diplomatic process. This was shock and awe through sheer credibility. And Trump made it clear, release the hostages or face consequences you can't imagine. He was going to make that whole thing a parking lot, let's just be honest. And for the first time in 2 years, Hamas blinked. And the contrast with the previous administration is stark. While Biden officials now try to claim credit, the hostages themselves know the truth. They felt the shift the moment Trump won, and the captors who tormented them for 2 years suddenly became accommodating. And why is that? Because they knew Daddy Trump was home. And this is what America First policy delivers. Not endless wars, not worthless arguments, results. 20 families made whole again, a region understanding that American strength is back, and terrorists learning that their days of exploiting American weakness are finally over. So if you got value from this report, please hit that subscribe button. My final thought is coming up. So this matters because deterrence isn't just military theory. It's what keeps your family safe. When Hamas terrorists saw Trump win, they immediately changed their behavior. They stopped tormenting hostages. They started negotiating, and they surrendered. Not because of some UN resolution or strongly worded letter that they like doing, but because they knew American power was returning with a vengeance. And think about that. The same terrorists who held out for 2 years under Biden folded in weeks under Trump. That's not luck, folks. That's leadership. When America projects strength, our enemies calculate differently. When we project weakness, they test us with blood. So here's my question. Should America negotiate with terrorist organizations, or should we make them fear the consequences of taking hostages? Yes for consequences, no for negotiation. I want you to sound off in the comments and let us know. And 20 families are whole tonight because one man refused to accept that some people are expendable. And that's the America that we are fighting so hard to preserve. Make sure you guys grab your next news gear in the description and stand with strength. He was going to glass that whole country. You guys know that. They were literally going to wipe them out of existence. We had Raising Cain going in the military. They were renamed the Department of War. We have so much power and so many resources. Those guys can't even understand what was about to happen to them. Same thing with Maduro. They offered all sorts of stuff to get out of it. I'm going to go over to the chats here. We got Officius. They say finally... there can finally, after 3,000 years, be a peace for 3.5 years, maybe, hopefully longer, depending on who's president next. The third temple can be built soon. Those who have read the book of Revelation know Jesus is coming soon after. I think we're in some pretty turmoil, turmoil, I guess turmoil is the right word for it, times where it's going to be tumultuous. That's the word. Times, and it's, I'm glad we have some pretty firm hands and adults in the room. And we've got good evening from southern New England. I saw somebody in the chat earlier who was from England, all the way in the land of the oppressed. Hopefully you guys get some freedom over there. We don't want their stupid prize from Sukatur. That's hilarious. He was nominated. Yes, he was nominated, I think, like 30 different times by 20 different countries. We have Care Bear, don't mind. I can't spell it. Trump will be talked about forever as a great president. His legacy will live on forever. That's only depending on who's writing the history books from now forward. There's so many things that are happening that they could just delete history or change it however they want, and it's pretty terrifying how that's working out. So hopefully it stays that way. Maybe he'll end up on Mount Rushmore sooner than later. Bubblina, he was going to glass them, LOL. I think that's pretty funny. They were going to do something to those guys for sure. How to be an American president and a badass. Between Teddy, Trump, Theodore Roosevelt, tell us this in the chat real quick, guys. Who's more of a badass, Teddy Roosevelt or Trump when it came to foreign policy? That'd be a fun poll to have like mid-show. We have Curran saying, I know President Trump, he didn't care if I got the Nobel Prize, but he deserves it. That is what peace is. He likes his prizes. He likes having the papers and the recognition for it. But the prizes are good, but he just keeps doing it because he knows it's the right thing to do. And Trump does not look backwards at all. We've got, what else we got here? Peace through strength. We could have figured from Grandpa. How you doing, Grandpa? We got Bubblina. This would probably, prophecy for sure. So we're still working on those audio issues we had earlier. Brian's almost through them now, guys. So I'm going to stay with the chat for a few minutes. Drop some craziness in the chat. What we got? Anything cool happening live as we're going on? Laura Lucas said, I hope this holds and does not backfire. That's always the thing that can happen. At any point, you could build the best peace deal ever. And you could have some bad actors in a cell decide to just do something stupid. And then President Trump is going to get made fun of on the TV. So if somebody wants to take a couple cheap shots, they might try it. But we've got F-22s, F-35s, F-47s, B-2 Lancers. We got stuff that they don't even know about that can handle that pretty quickly if they decide to step up. And I think what's interesting about the whole the peace deal over there, they're bringing in militaries from surrounding nations to help be peacekeepers in the region. And Trump is talking about making Gaza and the Gaza Strip like one of the most luxurious areas to come vacation to, where everybody can come in. Multi-nations are going to enforce the peace and make sure that there's almost like a Middle Eastern UN type deal where they're having troops in there to establish it, because you've got so many different religions that are calling that area home that it's going to take a multinational response to secure the region for other people. We doing good? We doing okay, Brian? Brian's still figuring it out. Yeah. There's a lot of, hi, I'm from Cambodia. Cambodia does need some peace. Mike Alfaro's doing great. History will remember Trump as the before and after Trump president. I think that, it's a turning point. I see what you're saying now. It was worded a little bit different. History will remember President Trump as before Trump, like a post-Trump history book and a pre-Trump history books. I agree with that. We do have a couple super chats that came in. More super chats from, more free gifts from Duplicate. Gave out some free memberships. Make sure you guys are joining into the Discord chat after. A lot of times I'll jump in, Gary jumps in, Todd's always in there. There's quite a few people in and out. And I know Pothead Kenny and Boyd and everybody else are in the chat almost nightly talking for hours after. So if you guys are looking for a good community, make sure you join and then become a member and then jump into the Discord chats. All right. We got a wonderful day. Thank you, Trump. I was watching the video clips earlier of the hostages being released, and it was incredible. I knew they were going to be released, but I always expect that last second something bad is going to happen, or something's not going to pop, or something's not going to do okay. And I'm pretty sure, I was pretty sure something bad was going to happen, or was going to get canceled mid-flight. Trump would return, and then we were going to see, a couple hundred jets in the sky demolishing the rest of their country that is there. How we looking, Brian?
Can you not hear me? Hello?
No, he's talking, but I can't hear him. All right.
What the fuck?
So we got hostages would remember YouTuber watch.
Can you hear me now? Tom. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Looks like we're back, guys.
Can you hear me now?
We're dealing with some technical stuff on our side.
Can you hear me?
And Bubblina
Hello?
said she cried her eyes out. I was actually tearing up the whole time.
Can you hear me? Hello?
It's incredible. I've got 2 younger daughters and a wife and everybody,
What the
and
fuck?
I don't know what I would do if they were gone for 2 years. And I didn't know if they were okay. I knew they were being mistreated.
Can you hear
I knew
me?
they weren't being. I can hear you now, Brian.
What the hell?
All right. Again, we were dealing. How does the audio sound to the chat? Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know in the chat. Hurry, quick.
Yeah.
All right, we hear you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, we hear Brian cussing in the background. They're saying we hear your F-bombs, Brian. So I don't know what you were doing off camera. That's always fun. Great. Obama, shut up. What the WTF? Like I said, we have some technical on the backside we're trying to work through, and I think we're getting loaded up for the next segment here now.
Can you still hear me?
So stay with us for a little bit. Quiet audio. Uh-oh.
Can you still hear me?
All right, somebody's saying it's too low, saying it's in there. Yeah, that's the only downside when you're doing a live. If you have a technical issue or something like that, you don't know what the audio sounds like going out to the stream. So we'll get through it. You hear somebody swearing in the background. Yeah, that's probably Brian, guys. So yeah, Gary's out today and tomorrow. I'm covering for Gary tomorrow as well, and then Gary will be back Wednesday. He's out on an assignment doing some fun stuff, and hopefully that gets through. And then I know we have some trips to the White House coming up soon. We have a great team out there now, and then I'm back and forth, and Gary's back and forth, and we're located in Chicago. So doing all the trips back through it is it's always fun. All right, so John said the audio sounds better than a few minutes ago. Outstanding. Again, we do apologize for that, too. We're going to get through it, folks. We're in it together. We got this. All right. So I don't know. Let me know in the chat. You know, it's what do you think? How long will this last? Hopefully longer than a few years as far as the Israeli peace plan goes. I'm praying that it lasts for as long as it can, 10, 20, 30 years plus. And I hope that sets the gold standard for what Africa can look like and what, South America can look like as well. And my defining factor for the Trump administration was how he's handling the cartels.
Can you hear me?
And so I'm
Can you hear me,
literally
Tom?
waited with bating breath daily to see how the cartels are going to go and what they're going to do with them. I know Maduro offered him all the gold in Venezuela. He offered him all the oil. He offered the Trump administration, the United States, almost every piece of anything that was worth something in Venezuela. And the administration said, no, we just want you to stop doing the cartel stuff and get rid of these guys. And Maduro's probably sweating right now, knowing that at any second of our choosing, boom, and that's it. And that's all he wrote. And having that leverage, I'm in my ear now.
Yeah,
and having that leverage
you can't
constantly.
hear me otherwise.
Okay.
You can hear me now.
I can hear you, Brian. All right, we're still trying to work through the audio stuff, guys.
And for some reason, I'm still in program regardless, and I'm not in program. I don't know what's happening.
So we apologize, guys. Do you want to cut to we'll be back screen real quick and reset or no?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back here in a couple seconds, guys.
Can you hear me? You can? Check 1, 2. Can you still hear me? You can't hear me? Check 1, 2. Can you hear me? No?
Okay. Thank you guys so much for sticking through. It's still in my ear. Do you guys hear a double feed or no? I don't know. Nobody's saying it? No? Okay. Well, I guess the chat, if you guys can let us know if I'm hearing a double speak. I'm hearing myself talk in my ear, which it just turned off, thank God. You want to just roll segment 3, Brian? Run it and see what happens?
Yeah, but I think I'm still in program, so I can't talk to you.
I can't hear you
all.
now, Brian. I'm so sorry, guys, that we're dealing with all this stuff tonight. I appreciate every single one of you for sticking through it. We've still got quite a few people watching, and thank you guys for dealing. I'm double-toned? Nice. Yeah, something's going on our computer today. We don't, you only hear single? Cool. Okay. Yeah, we got something's going on the computer side. And we're just trying to get through it. You guys heard Brian earlier and you're still hearing Brian?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting through it, folks. It's just a live show. That happens sometimes, and that's the way, yeah, technology. Shuru Gospel says, isn't technology awesome? You know, technology's great until it doesn't want to work. You know, I think this is the elitist establishment hacking into our systems, trying to get rid of us. Brian, they're reporting an echo of me talking.
Yes, I know.
I can't hear you, Brian.
I know.
All the love is beaming through from Sherry Pie. Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, we're getting, live and remote. We're getting through it, and it sounds like I'm in a tin can. Great. I'm so sorry again for everything. We're getting through it. I blame the Democrats also, John. I appreciate that. Couldn't agree more. And there's an echo. Yeah, we're getting through it, guys. We might just cut to the segment, and hopefully it goes through the right way. And it's amazing how all these things happen. Everything's set up the exact same way. Still reverb. Brian, can you cut to the other screen? It's like nothing but reverb coming through on our side. All right, Sue.
Can you hear me?
Thanks, Sue. Brian can't talk. We hear him, and we don't hear your echo. Okay, at least you're not hearing echo. That's good. So we cut through the other one. We're going to swap through some screens real quick, and then we're going to get into... what do we got coming up next? We got Dems shutdown, Schumer's revolt, and the Democrats are still trying to blame Republicans for the shutdown, which is insane. It's, it needs 60 votes to pass, and there's 52 Republicans, so I don't know how they could even get away with doing that. It's not good. Look, tube. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I might even pop over to X and go through it for a little bit. Maybe do some scrolling and see what's going on here. Yeah, audio malfunctioning, our internal systems malfunctioning. We're almost through it. I think it's getting clipped out now for all the what not to do when things go bad. Yeah, all good. We roll with it. Yeah, we just do roll with it. This is live, so we can't like pause or redo the take or stop the stream for 10 seconds and then rebroadcast and we got to listen to the song again, which I don't think most people want to do. So. All right. Oh, I'm back in my ear again, Brian.
Yeah, because you can't hear me otherwise. And no matter what I do, they hear me on program. So I can't even cue you for when you need to start or whatever because it's going to go on program. We can't.
Well, I'll keep an eye on I'll keep on the window. You don't have to cue me.
Okay.
I'll keep an eye on the window and I'll pull my earbud out. I'll just watch the timer. As long as the clips are in the preview window, I should be fine. Cool. Just give me a cue when you're about to hit it, and we'll get going. You guys might hear Brian when we're doing this record or in the start, so just we're going to pop through it, all right? It'll be just fine. All right, Brian, whenever you're ready, I'll see your mic. Copy.
Go.
I'm waiting to hear from Brian, and I'm not hearing it. Cool. We're going to run with it. Washington just flipped the script, and the American people are the victims. Chuck Schumer stands at a podium calling for citizens to forcefully rise up while his hand is on the switch that shut down your government. Federal workers are getting pink slipped, essential services hanging on by a thread, and the same Democrats who screamed hostage-taking when Republicans threatened shutdowns are now holding the entire country hostage over their radical demands. They're not even hiding their hypocrisy anymore. Watch them squirm when confronted with their own words from 2018. And this isn't governance, it's revenge. And when they're making you pay for Trump's victories. And the evidence, it's devastating. Keep watching. So gold has gone mainstream, and you're seeing it everywhere, and prices keep climbing. Every day, more and more Americans are catching on to the power of gold. But how do you actually take advantage of it? How do you invest in a way that's safe, simple, and built for the long run? And that's where Noble Gold Investment comes in. Noble Gold specialists are trained to help investors like you go from confused to confident, from wondering what's next to knowing exactly what to do. Whether you're looking to roll over an old 401k into a gold IRA, or you want physical coins and bars delivered right to your home, Noble Gold makes the process simple, safe, and stress-free. And you're going to get step-by-step guidance, transparent pricing, and U.S.-based service from a team that's handled over $2.5 billion in precious metal transactions. With Noble Gold Investments, protecting and growing your wealth isn't just their job, it's their commitment. So visit nextnewsgold.com today to claim your free wealth protection kit. And again, that's nextnewsgold.com. Noble Gold, helping you build a stronger future. So Chuck Schumer just said the quiet part out loud, and watch Senate Majority Leader, the man who just shut down your government, call Americans to forcefully rise up against the Trump administration. This isn't democracy. This is desperation. Check this out.
It is just such a hallmark of tyrannical, autocratic dictatorship societies that they use the prosecutorial department as a political weapon. It is a disgrace, and every American, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, moderate, people should be forcefully rising up against this.
He said, forcefully rising up. And those are the words of a man who knows he's losing control, and he's willing to burn down the government to keep power. But this is where it gets rich. Senator Chris Murphy got caught red-handed in his own hypocrisy. CBS played his 2018 comments calling government shutdown hostage-taking, and watch him squirm when asked if he's doing exactly what he condemned. Take a look.
You have been critical in the past of the tactic of choosing to shut down the government. You were in 2018, you were back in 2013 when it was a discussion over health care. This is what you said in 2018.
The future of the American healthcare system was a legitimate public policy issue, as is the security of our borders. But we shouldn't be having the discussion amidst a government shutdown, trying to use our nation's security and all of these federal workers and the work that they do as hostages.
Aren't you doing today exactly what you were criticizing then?
No, that was a fight over sort of the long term.
That's all he had to say. No, that's it. That's his defense. The same man who preached about not using federal workers as hostages is now holding them hostage. And Vice President J.D. Vance laid out the cold truth about what Democrats have done. They shut down the government, and now real people are paying the price. Listen to him explain exactly who's responsible for this chaos. Watch.
The main thing that we're focused on, Margaret, is ensuring essential services remain open. And obviously, in a government shutdown, we have limited funds to work with because the appropriations that keep the government running have not been made. That's thanks to Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. So we're trying to do everything that we can to ensure that low-income women and children get the food services that they need. We're trying to make sure that we pay our troops because that matters for national security. We also want our people to get their paychecks. That's where we've been focused. And unfortunately, what that does mean, Margaret, is that some federal bureaucrats are going to have to get laid off. This is not a situation that we're excited about. We want the government to reopen, but Chuck Schumer and the Democrats decided to shut down the government, and we have to deal with the consequences in the administration, so that's what we're doing.
Some federal bureaucrats are going to have to get laid off, not because Republicans wanted it, because Chuck Schumer chose it. The VP went further, exposing the real game being played here. This isn't about policy difference, guys. This is pure political hostage-taking, and watch him call out their tactics. Take a look.
The reality is, we have to remember, why are we in this situation, Margaret? All these conversations about whether it's a temporary layoff or a permanent layoff, we're dealing with a terrible, chaotic situation because Chuck Schumer and a few far-left Democrats decided to shut down the government. If they just joined with the moderate Democrats and the vast majority of Republicans, we can open up the government and all of these conversations will no longer be necessary.
He actually said Chuck Schumer and a few far-left Democrats decided to shut down the government, while moderate Democrats would vote to reopen. The radicals are holding them back. Then came the moment that exposed their entire strategy. The vice president spelled out exactly what Democrats are doing, and it's worse than you think. They're not negotiating, they're demanding total surrender. Take a look.
This isn't a deal-making, this isn't a negotiation, this is hostage-taking. The Chuck Schumer has not said to us, this is what we need. he said that unless you give us what we need, we're going to shut down the government. That is a totally different thing. If Chuck Schumer wants to come into the Oval Office or come to my house, he is welcome to talk about how to fix health care policy for Americans. Of course, we want to lower insurance premiums. We want to make sure that the skyrocketing health care costs of the Biden administration start to level off and hopefully come down. That's one conversation. But you don't come into the Oval Office and say, unless you, the President of the United States, give us everything that I want, I'm going to shut down the government.
I absolutely love the attitude J.D. Vance and the Trump administration has. Listen, you guys want to shut it down. Don't come to my house and tell us what to do. We're going to tell you what's going on. They're not playing games, and they're using this as an opportunity to cut all the waste and fraud that we've been having for years.
To die, low-income women and children, their food benefits. I'm not going to pay the troops. That is what Chuck Schumer has put us in the situation of doing. We don't negotiate with a person who has taken the entire federal government hostage over a health care policy dispute. And I think that basic principle you saw.
It wasn't a healthcare policy dispute. It was them trying to give every illegal immigrant in the United States free health care. That's why they shut the government down. They didn't want to do anything more for American people. They shut it down because they wanted to give anybody in the first place. We don't get free health care. That's not how it works. But they want to give it to people who don't even belong in this country in the first place.
Barack Obama say this to Ted Cruz and a number of Republicans. We want to talk about health care policy, but we're not going to shut down the government over this. That's all that Donald Trump is now saying to Chuck Schumer and the far left Democrats. We are not going to negotiate over opening the government. We'll negotiate on health care policy, but only once you do your job and open up the people's government.
So we don't negotiate with a person who has taken the entire federal government hostage. And that's Barack Obama's playbook thrown back in their faces. And meanwhile, Hakeem Jeffries went on TV to lie about the continuing resolution. But he got fact-checked in real time and watched him try to spin a clean continuing resolution as some kind of radical Republican bill. Watch.
Well, first of all, we don't view the current bill as anything other than a partisan Republican spending bill.
But it's the issue.
The American people.
It's at levels that you guys have already agreed to. A number of Democrats voted for this extension back in March. It's not adding or detracting anything. It's just continuing the levels of spending that currently exist.
Actually, it's not at levels that we agreed to. Democrats strongly oppose this legislation in the House because, in our view, it gut veterans' health care, gut funding for women, infants, and children programming, gut funding for affordable housing, and we know we have a housing crisis in this country. Housing costs are too high.
Just to be clear, though, it's not changing current. It's not changing current levels. Nothing's getting cut. It's at levels that you may not like, but it's about extending levels as they currently exist. Fair?
Right. We agree that current spending levels are unacceptable.
All right. It's just continuing the levels of spending that currently exist. The same levels of Democrats voted for in March, but now they call it extreme. And Speaker Mike Johnson exposed the real reason for this shutdown. It's not about policy, it's about politics. And Schumer got heat from his radical base, and now he's making America suffer to appease them. Watch.
Chuck Schumer is incapable of telling the truth right now. I mean, he's been in Congress for 44 years, Shannon. I mean, almost half a century. He knows this is basic civics. Every 8th grade civics student can point out the fallacy in what he just said. It requires 60 votes in the Senate to get this through. We only have 53 Republicans. We've got to have a handful of Democrats in the Senate who apply common sense and agree to reopen the government so that we can continue all these discussions. As you pointed out to Hakeem Jeffries, this is a clean continuing resolution. What that means for folks back home is it's exactly the same levels of spending. By the way, it's Biden-era policies and spending, which we loathe. But we're trying to get through the appropriations process to change that and fix it for the country, and they ran out of time because the end of the fiscal year, September 30th, we just need 7 more weeks to finish it. And right now they're eating up the clock. They're doing this for political cover. Chuck Schumer, when he voted for the exact same measure back in March, took a lot of heat from the left of his party, and he doesn't want to sustain that any longer. So he's doing this and inflicting pain for his own selfish reasons.
Chuck Schumer voted for the exact same measure back in March. And what changed? The radical left threatened him, so he shut down your government. these people are crazy. And this is the Schumer doctrine in action. They're using the exact tactics they condemned for decades. In 2013, they called Ted Cruz a terrorist for threatening shutdowns. In 2018, they said it was un-American to use government workers as leverage. Now they're doing both while demanding you forcefully rise up to support them. This is insane. But the facts are simple. Republicans passed a clean continuing resolution, the same spending levels, no poison pills, just keeping the government open while finishing appropriations. Democrats in the Senate, they're blocking it. And why is that? Because Schumer would rather hurt America than upset his radical base. And essential services are strained. Troops might not get paid. WIC benefits for mothers and children hang in the balance, all because Democrats decided that political revenge matters more than governing. And the media, they're running cover. Instead of reporting that Democrats are literally holding the government hostage, they're debating whether Trump's prosecutions of criminals are authoritarian. While Schumer calls for uprising and shutdowns of the government, they want you worried about law and order returning to America. And this is what it looks like for Democrats to panic. And they're seeing Trump bring peace to the Middle East, restoring order to cities, and holding the corrupt accountable. They can't beat him on results. So they're burning down the house and blaming him for the smoke. This is insane. So if this report opened your eyes, please hit subscribe. My final thoughts are next. So this matters because the government shutdowns aren't abstract, they're personal. Right now, a soldier wonders if his paycheck will clear. A single mother worries if WIC will keep running. Federal workers are getting layoff notices, not because of budget disputes or policy differences, but because Chuck Schumer got criticized by his radical base and decided to make America pay for it. They're literally using the same weapon they call terrorism when Republicans even threatened it, but now that they hold the gun, suddenly it's like a resistance. These are the same people who lectured about norms and institutions are burning both down because they can't stand Trump succeeding. So here's my question to you. Should Republicans cave to Democrat demands to reopen the government, or stand firm until Democrats pass the clean continuing resolution? Yes to stand firm, no to cave in. So let me know in the comments. And this is what desperation looks like. When you can't win on merit, you take hostages. So go ahead and check out our merch shop below and wear your principles proudly. I had to rip my earbud out there, guys. I'm sorry about that. Is the audio still going crazy? I'm going to check the chats here, guys. I appreciate most of you guys. Sound alert. Is it still bad? Yeah, we got a lot of cool comments coming in. I'm checking for any super chats, see how they're looking here. No super chats, but plenty of free memberships tonight. Everybody's doing pretty good. I appreciate you guys sticking with us through all of these issues that we've been having. And we're trying our best here. We're trying to fix it in real time and trying to get things continuing to go on. So we're going through it. It's still awful. Is it still echoing real bad? I'm sorry. Brian, you want to cut to the we'll be back screen, reset the audio or something?
I can do.
I can't hear you, Brian.
Of course not.
Everybody's saying it's bad. I appreciate you guys sticking with us for so long on this. Yes, it is bad sound. Is it like a reverb? Sounds like I'm in a cave. Yeah, we're trying, guys. We're trying our best, I promise, for all of you. I'm going to mute for 1 second here. Going to keep going. Let's see. Okay. I think we're going to go into the next topic right away. Brian, you just talk into it and say whatever you got. We'll just try to cut right in. Or topic 4. I'm texting Brian on the inside because our internal audio is down, so we're trying to... Oh, it sounds good now? Brian did a good job. Yeah, so that Economic Winter said, sounds like a duplicate audio feed is mixing into the main feed. We've been trying to figure out where that's coming from. We were going to go live about 2 hours ago, and we spent about an hour trying to figure it out. They're saying it's good. Going to topic 4. We do... Yeah, I don't surrender to the far left either, guys. Sounds good. Check the chat. You're doing good. Yeah, I'm watching the chat. We're trying because it's hard to watch the show or listen to the show while you're on it. And band just got better. Sound way better. The comment is eating up. To comment is just eating up time. Yeah, we are trying to figure that out. Brian is doing great. Brian is he's a technical wizard. Yeah, the things that he knows and what he can do is so incredible. He just knocks everything out of the park. And so when something is is bugging them up. It really messes a lot of things up here. I'm going to go ahead and sit down for topic 4, Bri. I'll give you a finger. I'll give you a 5 on screen if you can't hear me. We're going to get ready to go. Okay. A mother in Memphis just said something that should break every American's heart. For the first time in 5 years, my kids have been able to play in the backyard. 5 years. I want you to think about that. Children imprisoned in their own homes while gangs ruled the streets. Until now. The National Guard rolled in and everything changed. No gunshots for 2 weeks. Kids are playing outside and neighbors are walking together. But their families celebrate their freedom and Democrats are losing their minds. They're calling ICE agents kidnappers, comparing security fences to the Berlin Wall, and declaring that we're living under a dictatorship, all while children finally get to play free again. It's insane, and the contrast is staggering, so stay with us. So just like Trump's National Guard brought peace to Memphis streets, you deserve peace of mind about your Medicare coverage. But the system is designed to confuse you. Endless mailers, fine print, pushy sales calls. Most seniors are trapped in the wrong plan, overpaying thousands yearly. And Chapter breaks through the chaos. In under 20 minutes, they compare all 24,000 plans to find your perfect fit. Their advisors are salaried and they're not commissioned. They work for you, not for insurance companies. And seniors save on average $1,100. And the annual enrollment period is now. So call Chapter at 910-728-4109 or visit askchapter.org/next, or again call 910-728-4109 today. So this is the America that media doesn't want you to see. A Memphis mother steps onto her porch and delivers testimony that destroys every narrative about Trump's authoritarianism. Listen to what life was like before the National Guard arrived and what changed when they did. Take a look.
Some of them might get mad. And at this point, I don't give a damn. I'm not into politics. I'm not into all that extra stuff that people be losing their life over. I ain't into all that. You hear me? What else? But I will say thank you to Trump for bringing these National Guards and doing what they doing down here in Memphis right now. You know, for the first time in 5 years. I've been in my home for 5 years. And for the first time, my kids have been able to play in the backyard and be able to do it comfortably. I haven't heard a gunshot in 2 weeks. I haven't seen any strange people walk up and down the street. Just a few weeks ago, I had somebody walk on the side of my house. None of that action's going on. I haven't seen no young YNs at the store posted. I haven't seen an empty interview fly past me in weeks. I'm sitting on my porch right now, and I'm watching kids outside playing. People outside walking with their kids, stuff I ain't never seen before living in my neighborhood. But all because we feel safe in this environment, unfortunately because of the things that are happening here in the city. I hate it to be this way, but I'm happy. I'm happy. Honestly, I truly feel that this is just a band-aid to the problem. I don't think this is going to completely fix everything. But to have a moment of peace, just thank you, Jesus.
For 5 years, her children could not play outside. Again, 5 years. But now they can. And that's not fascism, folks. That's freedom returning to forgotten Americans. But Democrats can't handle the success. Watch CNN's Maria Cardona completely lose it, accusing ICE agents of being criminals. She's actually encouraging people to interfere with federal law enforcement. And this is dangerous rhetoric from someone with a major platform. Check this out. It's insane.
Maria, can you talk about what the response should be? Earlier this week, I was talking to a congresswoman, and I said, look, should people actually be hanging around ICE? Is this only they're being baited into interactions that can justify action?
Look, let's remember that protesting peacefully is a right that we all have as American citizens, Audie, and one of the things that we cannot lose sight of here is the egregious violations of civil rights that ICE is involved in every single day.
See how she has to breathe through the lies. She's trying to work. She's like, the egregious lie. No, interfering with federal officers doing their jobs is not like, you know, that's not protesting. That's a federal offense. And she's trying to, like, go out there and do this. Keep watching. It's insane.
In so many communities, they are not there to keep the peace. They are there, I believe, to incite these protests that Donald Trump is now using as an excuse to bring in the federal troops. ICE is violating American citizens' rights. They are detaining American citizens for days on end. So the focus of ICE is not to deport violent, criminal, undocumented immigrants. In fact, the vast majority of immigrants that they have detained have absolutely no criminal record.
The point of ICE, they're not there to deport illegal aliens? Like, that's literally immigration control and enforcement. Like, how do you enforce somebody who's here illegally? You get rid of them. Like, that's their entire job. But these people don't even seem to comprehend that small little topic. It's insane. This has been a federal law for over 200 years about illegal immigrants. And all of a sudden now they have a problem when it's about to go over to their next issue. We're going to go back into the full feed.
And on top of that, they are detaining American citizens as well. Yes.
But is it a good strategy to antagonize ICE, right? Follow ICE, take a lot of videos. Like, there's an argument that the administration is making that this is itself the threat.
As long as they are not, these protesters or the people who are videotaping the ICE agents are not physically attacking the ICE agents, absolutely it's within their right, Audie. It's the only way that Americans are aware of these massive violations of civil rights that ICE agents are involved in. The images, these videos, are the ones that are telling us, look at what they're doing. They're slamming women, children, you know, on the floor, separating families. They attacked a priest, for God's sake, a reverend. They attacked him, shooting pellets at him. I mean, these things are egregious, Audie, and we cannot lose sight of that. Again, the protests and these videotapings have to be peaceful, but that is absolutely within the right of American citizens to do that, to show the world these massive violations of civil rights by ICE.
All right.
They just showed a bunch of people blocking the entrance and exit for the ICE facility, which is impeding the federal officers doing their jobs. And she literally said, kidnapping innocent men, women, and children. She's talking about law enforcement arresting criminals. This is how deranged the left has become. The Vice President J.D. Vance spelled out why federal intervention was necessary in Chicago, and local leaders abandoned their citizens to gang rule. So watch him explain the simple truth Democrats still cannot admit. Take a look.
Well, I'd say to Governor Stitt, you have to look at what's happening on the ground in Chicago. And the reason why Illinois is a different case from Chicago is because Chicago has been given over to lawlessness and gangs for too long, George. If you look at the murder rates in Chicago, the violent crime rates, you have women who have young families. They're terrified their kids are going to get killed in a drive-by shooting. We have accepted this for far too long in the United States of America and some of our biggest cities. And Chicago, unfortunately, is the worst. It's a beautiful city. It's got great people. We know the gross majority of the violent crime in that city is committed by a very tiny fraction of the population. Why shouldn't federal troops empower the people in Chicago to live safe lives when the governor and the local mayor just simply refuse to do their job?
He literally put that so succinctly into one little package. Why shouldn't federal troops empower people in Chicago to live safe lives? Because Democrats prefer chaos. They control over peace. They don't want. Like, it's so insane. Meanwhile, in Portland, the usual suspects rioted outside an ICE facility. Andy No caught the peaceful protesters showing their true colors. And this is what Democrats defend while children in Memphis can finally play outside. Watch.
imaginations or other physical force.
So screaming racial slurs at counter-protesters, but we're supposed to believe ICE agents are the problem? They then came peak at absurdity. An Illinois Democrat, Emmanuel Chris Welch, actually compared a security fence around an ICE facility to the Berlin Wall. Watch him invoke Reagan while defending chaos. And you guys, like, you can't make this stuff up. Watch.
American president actually ordered an iron fence to be erected in American City. Just as the Berlin Wall did in 1961, this fence stands as a symbol of division. This fence is a symbol of dividing families. This fence is a symbol of dividing communities. This fence is a symbol of dividing Americans. And this fence is a symbol of denying American constitutional rights.
I wonder who he paid to write these speeches, because what he's saying is absurd. Oh my, like, it's, I can't even process how bad this is and how the optics, like, of course we're going to make fun of him for this. It's terrible. It's the worst comparison in history. We're going to continue.
This fence is also a distraction. Let's be clear. This fence is a distraction.
No, your bald head is a distraction.
And a reinforcement of the havoc Trump has wreaked on our nation. We must pull back all of these fences and all of these barriers to the American dream. Mr. Trump, tear down this fence now.
You know what? Reading that probably sounded so much better than what he was saying. It's so bad.
Tear down! Tear down this symbol of division! Tear down this symbol of destruction! Tear it down and tear it down now!
So he wants to tear down fencing in front of an ICE facility so his protesters and the people that riot there nightly can just get into it. He literally said, Mr. Trump, tear down this fence. It's a fence protecting federal agents from Molotov cocktails. Is now a symbol of communist oppression. And that's the Democrat logic in 2025. But the crown jewel of leftist hysteria belongs to Senator Chris Murphy. He went on TV to declare we're not on the verge of authoritarianism. We're already in it. And his evidence is that Trump is restoring law and order. Watch.
Have we slipped already into the authoritarianism? Is there a way out? I mean, give us your unvarnished thoughts here.
Well, listen, I mean, we are not on the verge of an authoritarian takeover. We're in the middle of it. Now, it's not too late. We haven't lost our democracy. But, we sometimes like to think of the first term of Donald Trump, the bumbling White House that didn't seem to have any theory of the case from day to day. This is a very different...
It's the same White House that was bumbling that Obama had all the staffers in to undermine the presidency, as we're discovering in documents now. They did that intentionally. Now they're going to use that against him.
From White House, right? Stephen Miller and his gang, they have a plan. They have a plan that they are executing to transition our country from democracy to something fundamentally different, maybe even autocracy. And
we don't live in a democracy. We live in a constitutional republic. Say it again. Constitutional republic.
And that's what I tried to lay out on the floor today, is how this plan is being operationalized every single day. But no, it is not a lost cause. Ultimately, what we know from history is that when a big enough portion of the population, the number's normally around 2%, show up to protest, are regularly engaged in peaceful civic action, sand gets thrown in the gears of the attempts to destroy the democracy, that you end up saving it. So we have an opportunity in these elections this November to send a signal. We have an opportunity through the protests on October 18th to show the country and the world that we aren't lying down. So this is a serious moment. It's almost lost, but it's definitely not lost yet.
He literally said, we're in the middle of it. All of this while kids in Memphis are playing outside for the first time in 5 years. He sees dictatorship. And that's how broken that their worldview is. So here's what's really happening, guys. Trump is doing what local Democrats refuse to do, which is protect innocent Americans. In Memphis, mothers are crying tears of joy. In Chicago, federal troops are reclaiming neighborhoods from gangs. And cities that Democrats abandoned are being restored. And the contrast could not be clearer. On one side, you have families celebrating safety, children playing, communities are healing. On the other, you have Democrats calling this tyranny while defending the criminals who terrorized these neighborhoods for years. They're not upset about authoritarianism. They're upset about losing control. For decades, Democrats have kept urban Americans trapped in war zones, dependent on government that never delivered safety. Now Trump's breaking that cycle, and they're literally panicking. And Maria Cardona calls it kidnapping when ICE arrests MS-13 members. Chris Murphy calls it a dictatorship when children can play outside. And Emmanuel Welch invokes the Berlin Wall to protect rioters. This isn't principled opposition. It's desperation from a party watching their urban plantation system collapse. And that Memphis mother said it best. This is just a band-aid to the problem. And she's right. But it's a band-aid that's letting her children experience childhood for the first time, and it's allowing that community to heal. And Democrats, they're furious about it, and their choice is crystal clear. Trump brings safety and order and hope to abandon Americans, and Democrat brings excuses, chaos, and dependence. And no wonder they're screaming authoritarianism. Accountability feels like oppression when you've never faced it before. So if you stand with law and order, smash that subscribe button. Final thoughts are coming up now. So this matters because, safety isn't a political talking point. It's a human right. That Memphis mother waited 5 years to let her children play outside, and 5 years of gunfire as background noise, and 5 years of teaching kids that sidewalks are battlefields. And when Trump finally sent help, Democrats call it fascism. They're telling you that children playing safely is authoritarianism, that arresting MS-13 is kidnapping, that protecting federal agents from Molotov cocktails is building the Berlin Wall. They've completely inverted reality because your safety threatens their power. So here's the question. Should federal forces stay in the cities until local leaders prove they can maintain order, or should they withdraw immediately? Yes to stay, no to withdraw. Sound off in the comments below. And I think every child deserves to play outside without fear, and every mother deserves to sleep without counting gunshots. And that used to be called civilization. Now Democrats are calling it dictatorship. Also, if you can, grab your Next News gear in the description and stand with those who stand for safety. All right, we're clear on that, guys. We're still going through some audio issues on that. I appreciate you guys sticking with us. And I think I just want to go straight to topic, Brian, if you're open for it, because I don't know if we're going to degrade any further, and we're going to go through it. I know a lot of people are in. Yeah. So yeah, my last name is spelled on the banner incorrectly. Appreciate that. That was fun. All right. I think we're going to just load topic 5, guys. We're going to get into it just so we don't have any other technical issues that are going to blow up the audio issues again. So I'm going to text Brian to see if he's ready to go. One second, guys. Hang with us. We're almost there. I promise it's going through. It's going to be okay. So I'm going to give a countdown in a couple seconds. Brian's saying it. Awesome. So 4, 3. So the puppet master just revealed his fear, and as Barack Obama emerged from the shadows, warning about a rising wave of authoritarianism, while his entire network faces justice for the biggest political crime in American history. Letitia James has been indicted, James Comey is under fire, and the architects of Crossfire Hurricane are finally meeting accountability. And Obama's panicked because the machine he built to destroy Trump is being dismantled piece by piece, and his people weaponize the FBI, the CIA, and the Department of Justice for political persecution. Now they're learning what real justice looks like. And even Michael Cohen admits what's coming. The deep state's day of reckoning has arrived, and their godfather is screaming about democracy. And while his empire burns, watch closely. So gold has gone mainstream. You're seeing it everywhere, and prices keep climbing. Every day, more and more Americans are catching on to the power of gold. But how do you actually take advantage of it? And how do you invest in a way that's safe, simple, and built for the long run? And that's where Noble Gold Investment comes in. Noble Gold specialists are trained to help investors like you go from confused to confident, from wondering what's next, knowing exactly what to do. So whether you're looking to roll over an old 401k into a gold IRA, or you want physical coins and bars delivered right to your home, Noble Gold makes the process simple, safe, and stress-free. And you're going to get that step-by-step guidance, transparent pricing, and U.S.-based service from a team that's handled over $2.5 billion in precious metal transactions. With Noble Gold Investments, protecting and growing your wealth isn't just their job, it's their commitment. So visit nextnewsgold.com today to claim your free wealth protection kit. Again, that's nextnewsgold.com. Noble Gold, helping you build a stronger future. So the walls are closing in on Obama's deep state, and the Godfather himself is panicking. So watch him emerge from his foundation fortress to warn about authoritarianism, while his own people face justice for the real coup against America. Check this out.
I've become increasingly concerned about the rising wave of authoritarianism sweeping the globe. We're seeing politicians target civil society, undermine freedom of the press, weaponize the justice system, and no one is being spared. Even countries that thought they were immune from wholesale assaults on democracy now understand we're all part of this struggle.
Weaponize the justice system. That's rich coming from the same guy who turned the FBI into his personal hit squad against Trump. And those dominoes started falling with Letitia James. The woman who campaigned on destroying Trump just got indicted for mortgage fraud. Watch her desperate press conference where she plays the victim card, quoting scripture. The terror in her eyes tells the real story, and it's beautiful. Take a look.
This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He's forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law.
Why does she have her church voice on? Does it sound like she has her church voice on? Let me know in the comments. It sounds like she's preaching to the room, like we need to stop these people from doing their bad things or whatever she's doing. It's not working for you, Letitia. You're a liar.
But to the president is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country. This is the time for leaders on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this blatant perversion of our system of justice. I stand strongly behind my office's litigation against the Trump Organization. We conducted a 2-year investigation based on the facts and evidence.
Facts and evidence, guys. Yeah, it's all BS. Come on.
Not politics. Judges have upheld the trial court's finding that Donald Trump, his company, and his 2 sons are liable to fraud. I'm a proud woman of faith, and I know that faith and fear cannot share the same space.
Yeah, but you guys shared the same cabin with your prosecutor guy for a couple weekends that you lied about in court. But you could share that with whatever you're about to say.
And so today I'm not fearful. I'm fearless. And as my faith teaches me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. We will fight these business charges aggressively, and my office will continue to fiercely protect New Yorkers and their rights. And I will continue to do my job.
Oh, those whispers. When she goes to the whisper thing, it's so weird. And she said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. She's quoting Isaiah while facing federal charges. That's not faith, guys. That is fear. And CNN rushed to her defense, and Jeffrey Toobin actually said the quiet part out loud. His argument was stunning. Just because she's politically targeted Trump doesn't mean she should face consequences for breaking the law. Watch this literal insanity. Take a look.
According to PolitiFact, the day after she was elected in 2018, Letitia James was asked by a community activist if she was going to sue President Trump, and she replied, quote, "Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass. He's going to know my name personally." I mean, that's not a great look for somebody who has just been elected or just been campaigning, who hasn't even looked, I guess, deeply at any evidence.
Well, that's, we live in a system where attorneys general and district attorneys in this...
You got Adam Kinzinger on there. You already know this is going to be horrible. I hate that guy.
Well, I mean, it's a bizarre case in many respects. First of all, it's incredibly small potatoes. This is a house that was purchased for $137,000 in 2020.
So it doesn't matter how big the crime is, right? So he's saying, it's not even a big deal that she committed mortgage fraud, not once but twice, and she lied on documents. And they're saying that's not that big of a deal. People go to jail for that every single day. Every person watching this will go to jail if they did that. But because she's a prosecutor, she gets away with it?
A year when the average house in America was sold for $383,000. So any mortgage, any insurance on a house of that value is going to be very small, and in ordinary circumstances wouldn't draw the attention of the Department of Justice.
But she still committed fraud. But it won't draw the Department of Justice. She committed fraud. It's a lie. She did it. It doesn't matter.
But more importantly, what is so chilling about this case is that ever since Watergate, presidents have imposed on themselves the rule that they do not interfere in criminal prosecution, much less demand them. But here you have a demanded prosecution, and one that the career people in the Eastern District of Virginia thought was an unworthy case. That's a really chilling example of how the criminal justice system is not supposed to work. Just because she made inappropriate comments, that doesn't mean she should get indicted for fraud years later. I mean, we're not supposed to live in a system of that kind of tit for tat. Criminal cases are supposed to stand or fall on their own.
This woman campaigned for years about sending Trump to jail. That was her whole campaign promise. That it doesn't matter what it is, we'll find this guy liable for it, and we'll get him in jail. And he said just because she made inappropriate comments doesn't mean she should get indicted years later. They're literally arguing Democrats are above the law. And Vice President J.D. Vance destroyed their entire narrative with, simple facts. And Letitia James committed mortgage fraud. The evidence is clear. The law is the law, period. Watch him explain what real justice looks like. Take a look.
Letitia James was indicted in a left-leaning part of our country, a part that voted very heavily against Donald J. Trump for the crime of mortgage fraud. When I read the indictment, when I read the facts in the case, I see a person who committed mortgage fraud. Now,
they said the same thing about when Trump was indicted. Oh, he was indicted by his peers. He was indicted in an he had 12 people. It's the same process. Now they're saying it's corrupt. It's insane.
Of course, the jury is going to decide whether she ultimately committed a crime. We don't try her. The administration doesn't try her. A judge tries the case, and a jury decides whether she's ultimately guilty. That is what is going to determine whether she goes to prison. I think we let the facts drive this. And George, that's what we've tried to do in the administration's Department of Justice. We've asked ourselves, has a person violated the law? And if that person has violated the law, then we decide to prosecute. That's what the Department of Justice should do. It didn't do that under Joe Biden's administration. It does under Donald Trump's.
So he said, we've asked ourselves, has a person violated the law? If they have, we prosecute them. No political calculations, just justice. Then came the bombshell. Even Michael Cohen, Trump's former fixer, attorney guy, whatever, turned enemy, went on MSNBC and admitted what everybody knows is coming. His words sent shockwaves through the panel. Watch.
He does want to see accountability. There's no doubt about that. Do I believe, for example, that Tish James will be held accountable? Absolutely. I said it on your show last time. Do I think James Comey will be held accountable? Absolutely. And I know everybody attacks Lindsay Halligan. Oh, she's a former beauty queen and she doesn't have prosecutorial experience. It doesn't matter. She has the power of government. You see, remember something.
But she doesn't even seem to have the backing of career prosecutors who are still working alongside her. Is it not a little concerning to you that they don't want to appear with her, put their names next to this stuff?
Not in the slightest. The documents will speak for themselves, and I'm certain that they have the documents that they need. I said it on a different show, in a different program, that I believe a first law student can actually take these cases to full trial and be successful. Just think about Tish James for a second. When you guys had asked me why I believe Tish James is next and why I believe she'll be held accountable. She's the chief law enforcement agent here in the state of New York. And what did she do? She went after Trump for what? For misstatements to a bank and banking fraud. Well, isn't that exactly what they're charging her now with? The same exact facts. Not really. Exactly. No, not really. It's exactly the same facts. I'm sorry?
She had evidence. In fact, I mean, there's a whole case, right? Also, one for a reason.
And they will have a case against her once Lindsay Halligan brings it to a...
Trump valued his properties, and the banks agreed with the valuation on the properties, and then they prosecuted him for fraud, which makes no sense. She faked her mortgage papers, said she lived somewhere where she didn't, so she can get a tax discount. It's completely different, but essentially the same deal. Watch.
Trial. That's the point I'm trying to make. Again, Republicans are screaming, yay, go Trump accountability. Democrats, of course, we're all screaming, oh, this is political retribution. This is a political revenge tour. I understand that. But this is exactly, she opened up a Pandora's box, if you think about it, about bringing cases against people for business fraud and banking fraud.
She campaigned on getting rid of Trump. That was her whole campaign. And he said Tish James will be held accountable. Absolutely, guys. James Comey will be held accountable. Absolutely. And when Michael Cohen admits that you're toast, you're screwed. Lindsey Graham went nuclear on MSNBC when they tried their usual, but what about Trump deflection? His response was pure fire and pure truth about the double standard that's finally ending. Take a look.
Do you think that crosses a line between the Justice Department being independent from the executive branch?
I think our Justice Department in the hands of Biden crossed every line there is to cross. I think within 3 days of announcing he was going to run for president in 2024, he did that in 2022.
But what about Trump? What about Trump?
Now, I think the grand jury's going to take care of this, but you didn't care any about this. You didn't care that Letitia James made up charges that no one's ever faced.
But Senator Biden never
charges no one ever
Trump
faced.
To be indicted.
He had Biden regretted that they didn't do it before the election. Jack Smith surveilled my records and 8 other senators. Jack Smith introduced his brief against Trump October the 24th before the 2024 election, violating every protocol just to politicize the election. So this may bother you that people are being held accountable. It doesn't bother me one damn bit.
This doesn't bother you that people are being held accountable. It doesn't bother me one damn bit. The days of selective justice are over, but the real atom bomb dropped when investigative journalists connected all the dots and watched this explosive segment revealing Crossfire Hurricane as the biggest scandal in U.S. history. Obama, Biden, Hillary, they all weaponized the intel agencies to destroy Trump. Watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Comey case, especially with the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, all the Crossfire investigations, I thought at the time those should have been enormous Watergate level stories because it was about surveillance of a major party presidential candidate. Now, I think in conjunction with Arctic frost, you have all these senators who are finally seeing domestic political surveillance has been a major unreported problem in this country for a long time.
Wow. Well, yeah, we just spoke with a senator who was really affected. Bill Haggerty was tracked, and he said it happened to him 3 times. Mike, is all of this connected? We've been covering, obviously, the Russia collusion lie for a decade, and in my view, well aware that it was fake from day one. But do you think this is all connected, and is this enough to create a conspiracy charge against Jim Comey and his friends who are part of that cabal?
They all work together to destroy and overthrow the duly elected president of the United States. Whatever he's saying is going to be safe TV safe. He destroyed a presidency over this.
Yeah, those indictments we just saw for Comey and Tish are the appetizer indictments. And the big one, the main course, is going to be the conspiracy against rights under 18 U.S.C. Section 241. I've publicly called for this for the last 3+ years since the Mar-a-Lago raid. Remember this with the Russian collusion hoax. The Democrats made this up to help Hillary Clinton's campaign, to cover up her corruption, and to take out presidential candidate Donald Trump. They failed. President Trump went into office, and so they tried to destroy him while he was in office, and they tried to destroy him with the...
And his kids and his friends. They arrested his attorneys even. First time in America. They represented Trump, and they arrested his attorneys. It's insane.
Lawfare because he declassified Crossfire Hurricane before he left office the first time.
It's insane. They politicize and weaponize intel agencies and law enforcement to take out their political enemy. That's not hyperbole. That's what happened. And the conspiracy goes deeper. They weren't just spying. They were covering up. And the Mar-a-Lago raid, it was about retrieving evidence of their crimes. Watch this revelation that changes literally everything. Take a look.
And you believe that the Mar-a-Lago raid was also part of it. They were actually looking for the assessment of Russia's influence campaign targeting the 2016 presidential election. It was declassified. I have it right here. Do you believe that's what they were looking for?
1,000%. And those people who did this raid, like Jay Bratz and others, they did this to cover up their own corruption. This is the biggest scandal in American history. They politicized and weaponized intel agencies and law enforcement to take out their political enemy. This is third world stuff. And I would say to these lawfare Democrats, justice is definitely coming.
Matt, this is all pretty extraordinary.
It is, but again, I think we're now finally seeing the perspective on it. I agree with Mr. Davis. This is an enormous story. It should have been an enormous story at the time. It's just that we're finally realizing how serious it was to conduct surveillance of these people and to manufacture intelligence, against the domestic political enemy.
So they did this raid to cover up their own corruption. These hunters became the hunted, and VP Vance put the final nail in their narrative coffin. Unlike Biden's DOJ that prosecuted Trump during an election, this administration is following the law, not politics, and the contrast is devastating. Take a look.
We're driven by the law and the facts of the case. I think if you look at the case, the fact that a far-left grand jury in a far-left area indicted Letitia James and James Comey, if you look at the fact that James Comey obviously lied under oath, Letitia James obviously committed mortgage fraud, what we're doing is letting the law drive the prosecution decisions and the justice. You know who we haven't prosecuted? Joe Biden, or Barack Obama, or Hillary Clinton. Okay, unlike Biden's Department of Justice, Kristen, which actually went after Donald Trump in the midst of an election, we are not doing that. We are letting the law drive these decisions. That's exactly as it should be.
You see how her face looked? She was like, You know who we haven't prosecuted? Joe Biden, Barack Obama, or Hillary Clinton. They're not seeking revenge. They're seeking justice for actual crimes. And this is what Obama's really afraid of. Not authoritarianism, it's accountability. His network weaponized every institution against Trump. They spied, they lied, and they fabricated evidence. They turned America's security apparatus into a political weapon. And now the bills are coming due. Comey lied under oath. James committed fraud. The whole Russia collusion hoax was a criminal conspiracy, and Obama orchestrated it all from his shadow presidency. And that's why he's emerging now, warning about democracy while his co-conspirators are facing indictments. They called it insurance when they did it, and we call it justice now that they're caught. If this truth matters to you, subscribe now. My final thoughts are next. So this matters because we're witnessing the collapse of the most dangerous criminal conspiracy in American history. They used your FBI to spy on political opponents, your CIA to manufacture evidence, and your Department of Justice to prosecute the innocent while protecting the guilty. And Obama's built this machine, and Trump is dismantling it. The panic is real. When Obama warns about authoritarianism, he's not worried about democracy. He's worried about discovery. Every indictment reveals yet another layer, and every testimony exposes another lie. The Russia hoax wasn't just dirty politics. It was an attempted coup using America's security state. So here's my question. Should there be a special prosecutor appointed to investigate the full scope of the Obama administration's weaponization of the intelligence agencies? Yes or no? And let me know in the comments and let your voice be heard. And they thought they destroyed the evidence. They thought they'd silence the witnesses, and they thought wrong. Justice isn't coming. It's finally here. So don't forget to show your support and grab the next news gear in the description. Cool. All right, I'm going to go right to the close, Bri. I know we've had audio issues, guys. I appreciate every single one of you guys and going through all of these things with us. And Letitia James's church voice. Did you guys hear that? She was like, I am preaching at the altar. Come on now. This ain't church. You're trying to sit here and people, you're innocent. Get out of here. It was almost embarrassing to watch. And then we had Chris Welch earlier talking all sorts of crazy stuff. And yeah, and we're looking. Pi said, of course they're making up more lies to cover up their lies. Of course it is. All right, guys. So, well, there you have it, America. 5 stories tell you everything about where we are and where we're heading. President Trump stood in Jerusalem and did what every president since 1948 promised but failed to deliver. He brought peace to the Middle East, not through endless committees or virtue signaling, but through strength and credibility. 20 hostages are home tonight because Hamas feared him. The Knesset erupted in applause, and even MSNBC admitted victory. And that's not politics, that's prophecy fulfilled. Meanwhile, the deep state that tried to destroy him is crumbling brick by brick. Obama emerged from his shadow palace warning about authoritarianism, while his lieutenants face justice for the biggest political crime in our history. Letitia James has been indicted. James Comey is under investigation. The architects of Crossfire Hurricane are finally meeting accountability. They weaponized their intelligence agencies for political persecution, and now they're learning what real justice looks like. But while Trump brings order, Democrats are bringing chaos. Chuck Schumer shut down your government when then demanded you forcefully rise up against the administration. The same Democrats who called shutdowns hostage-taking are now holding American hostage because they can't stand Trump's success. Federal workers are getting pink slips, essential services hanging by threads, all because Schumer's radical base demanded revenge. And in our cities, the transformation is breathtaking. A Memphis mother cried tears of joy that her kids can finally play outside after 5 years of gang rule. And they haven't heard gunshots in 2 weeks, she said, thanking Trump for sending the National Guard. And Chicago sees federal troops reclaiming neighborhoods from criminals, but Democrats are calling this dictatorship while defending the chaos that trapped these communities for decades. And the contrast could not be clearer. On one side, peace in Jerusalem, justice in Washington, safety in Memphis, and on the other, shutdown, riots, politicians calling law enforcement kidnappers. They're not fighting authoritarianism, they're fighting accountability. So to everyone who sent in super chats and rumble rants today, you guys are the show. Your voices matter, and your reactions are driving the conversation. Thank you for standing with us in this fight for truth, and standing with us through our audio issues. Don't forget to tell a friend about the raw feed and text them the link. Share it on social media and bypass the algorithm with person-to-person truth bombs. And check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and wear your principles with pride. Also, show the world where you stand with independent media that tells it straight. Again, this is Tom McCullough filling in for Gary Franchi, and thank you for joining the Raw Feed. The establishment wants you demoralized and divided. Instead, you're informed and united. They want you silent, and now you're louder than ever. So keep fighting, keep sharing, keep watching, because tomorrow we'll be right back here exposing what they don't want you to know. So we'll see you on the next show, guys. And tomorrow, Gary Franchi will be back on Wednesday, and I'm here tomorrow as well. God bless.